Everybody, my name is Dalton Burkhardt, and this is my Module 5, Understanding My Community and My School Bright Beginnings. You'll see throughout this presentation that my school and our school district is definitely different from how our community is, and I'm excited to show you a little bit more about it. Customs and traditions within our school and our community. Some of the customs are definitely that we want to help the kids. The kids come first, and we try our best to maintain a friendly and positive relationship with them. Helping others, wanting to know what's going on within the program. We're happy, we're energetic, and that's mainly within the school districts. We try our best to just bring out a positive atmosphere for the students. We definitely promote cultural diversity within our district. We make a lot of adaptations for language barriers and services provided for lower income families are a huge part of my building and what we do. If the family needs services with medical issues, we'll help them. Transportation, housing, food. It's just amazing of what kind of services my school promotes and gives to our students and their families. Regarding policy council meetings, they are held monthly, and we discuss issues regarding the policies, grants, and curriculum, and what's developing within our school itself. The policy council is made up of family members, administration, paras, office staff, and just regular community members. It's an awesome time to be a part of that, and I've done it a couple times, and it's just an amazing time to see everybody collaborate. Um, Change has been handled by involving stakeholders in the initiation process of new school vision and goals, and we do have a lot of family nights. Our last family night that I was a part of was based on safety, teaching kids how to be safe when riding bikes, when they're on the bus, safe travels when they're riding with their parents, on how to buckle up. It's just an awesome event to be a part of, and just seeing the kids learn new ways to be safe, especially within the community. Population characteristics. My school personally is a preschool, and it is a mixture of at-risk and early Head Start students. We're two programs within one building, so I'll get a little more into that later. Our community mostly has bachelor degrees, but there is still a high number of community members and population with no college experience at all. The age of my school ranges from 3 to 5 year olds, and my school demographics is about the same as the communities, about 52% male, 48% female. And a lot of the occupations within our community come from the meat packing plants. We have two meat packing plants, and they hire thousands and thousands and thousands of people. And they do cater to a lot of our Hispanic growth within the community. And with our population of our like races and stuff like that and within the community is largely made up of Hispanic and whites, but we are getting an influx of Guatemalan and Somalian members to the community. Communication channels. Within my school, our children can't read yet, so we do a lot of verbal. There is some written, but a lot of visual as well. For example, we use bathroom instructions, and these are made from pictures of how to wash your hands, where to throw the dirty towels, how to flush, just basic simple instructions through pictures. And then classroom rules were in the classroom, use animated pictures and playground safety as well. The effectiveness of using our verbal and visual is it definitely has a positive effect on the students. It allows them to accomplish our desired instruction and safety protocols. The community definitely gets a lot of their communication from social media and television. And for an impact on that within the community is everything is translated and bilingual. So restaurants will be in English and Spanish. um, Everybody that is involved with helping others, for instance, like a fast food attendant speaks English and Spanish. There's billboard translations in English and Spanish. It's just very, very. adaptive for both non-speaking and speaking. And then most of the people in the community get their information from Facebook. We have a group called Dodge City Chat. And if issues arise or public concerns are made, a lot of people do post their responses on that chat room, and it just develops communication. It could be either positive or negative. Community groups. We do have a lot of policy councils. That's just not within the schools, that's also within the community itself. Sports teams, church groups, city councils. Mexican heritage starts from the high school level and moves throughout the community. But when it comes to school, it's just at the high school level. And what that does is it's a group of Hispanic Americans that get together and just kind of promote their heritage within the community. They host Cinco de Mayo events, which are awesome to attend. It's great to see them being a part and just showing their culture. We have Students Against Drunk Driving, parent teacher associations, and since we are a huge farming community, we do have Future Farmers of America, and that just helps promote the youth that want to become farmers and just kind of gets them jump started into what that entails. No leadership within the school and community. It definitely starts with the superintendent. The superintendent, and then it drops down to the building principals, instructional coaches, and their school board members, which have a huge part of leadership. Our city mayor is kind of quiet. We don't hear too much of him, but he does have a large role within the leadership of the community. He allows special events to happen at the parks and in heritage meetings and things like that. Our church leaders have a role. They are trying to move more into the schools, which I feel is very, very important. We've had a large number of suicide completions and attempts, and I personally feel that the church definitely needs to be more involved within the school to help out our students. And then athletic coaches. Like I said, sports are a huge part of our city, and athletic coaches have a strong pull on especially the youth and their development. Characteristics of our community leaders is they are all goal oriented. They set goals, they want to reach them, and they do what it takes to get there. They're student and youth focused. Our youth is a huge part of our community, and our leaders do everything to help them out, give them opportunities, and keep them safe and out of trouble. Cultural competent, they definitely know about the influx of different cultures coming into the city, and they are able to help them out in services in many ways they can. They're experts in their line of work, or they wouldn't be a leader. They stay positive as much as they can. They great communication and collaborative abilities. They work well with others and just to promote success. Economic conditions. At my school, Bright Beginnings, we are state and government funded. We are from the early Head Start side and the at risk side. So our school actually does have a large amount of funding coming in. Within the district itself, we're consistently renovating and adding on. I know almost every single school, which is about 15, 16 schools within the community, have had some type of remodeling and addition add millions and millions of dollars to be able to complete that, but I believe it was through a grant. The school district does own a lot of land, and we can continue to buy land, and that's so we can eventually add more schools, add more athletic fields, just anything for the students. But over time, tax has increased, but lately, over the last few years, it's been pretty flat, and the city does really, really good at communicating when the taxes are going to increase and when they're not, and that always starts up some type of debate within the city. And then there's a large employment from the school district and packing plants. Our political structure. Since we are more of a farming community and we do have an influx of different cultures and everything coming in, there are a lot of political debates from the city, community, and state. Republican, Democrat, liberal, conservative. Those unfortunately do play a little bit of role in some of our funding and just how our schools are being ran and what functions and events are held. We try to keep the politics out of Bright Beginnings as best as we can, but since we're pulled from state and government, our state is mainly uh, a political view of Republican, and the government is swings. So it's really really confusing, and it gets really really tiring having to deal with politics in the school. Um, Definitely, negotiated agreements are another issue that deals with politics, and that's dealt with the KNEA leadership within our district. Social tensions within our community and our school. We have had a large issue of gangs within the community. Violence happens more often than not. It's pretty intense and intimidating. And we do have a large amount of cliques, and that's schools and in the community itself. Obviously, our athletes like to stick together. Soccer players stick with soccer players, football sticks with football, and so on and so forth. Unfortunately, race is another clique. It is definitely self-segregated, in other words. A lot of the Hispanic culture likes to stick with themselves. The white culture likes to stick with themselves. There are times where they do intertwine and communicate and hang out with each other, but when it goes back to it, they go back to what they're more comfortable with. So, as a school, we definitely need to start breaking that down a lot more. Social clubs also is another type of clique. Um, Another tension that is brought up is socioeconomic status within the community and our schools, unfortunately. Um, Obviously, the kids that whose parents have a higher income kind of can do a little more than the lower income families, and that definitely sparks some tensions within the community. And then we just have cultural tensions within the city. I know some people are afraid to go to certain parts of towns because of the culture there, and just we are slowly developing as being just a mixed in community. We still like to keep our little cliques and self-segregated is what I like to call it. Extra sources of information. We use the school website. There's a staff directory, and that gives you all the information on the teachers, their cell phone numbers, and their school emails, and what school they are a part of. And then there's Board of Education meetings, which are open to the public. So if a member of the community has a concern, they can join the Board of Education meetings and discuss the issues that are coming within the school district. Power structures. It definitely starts with the highest qualified and down. Within the school, obviously, it starts with the superintendent, then it goes down to the principals, instructional coaches, teachers, and then also part of if the teachers in their own subgroup, obviously the one that has the highest power is the ones that have spent the most time. So the teachers that have had 20 years experience are going to have a little more power over the teachers that are new. Multicultural issues. We are a very diverse community. We have many adaptations within the city to help all the cultures kind of adapt and work things out and survive more or less. Like I said earlier, we do have a lot of self-segregation. There's parts of the city that are mainly Hispanic, parts of the city that are mainly white, parts that are Somali, and it's just right now it's just like little subgroups spread out through the city. There are walkouts and protests. We recently had a walkout and protest within the Hispanic community, and that was due to political reasons. And then we do have dress codes. The dress codes were started a while ago when gang issues were very, very high within the school, and that just keeps the gang violence down and recruitment from gang members down. And then the no power structure. uh, Unfortunately, the socioeconomic status within our city has a higher power structure than community board members. They allow and new businesses and stuff to come in, but they're so uh, very particular with what they want within the city. And then the school administration, like I said earlier, starts from the top down with superintendent, and then down to the teachers. Major